Lisa here from Cool Kids Hub. Today I want to talk about understanding newborn sleep. So you've got this beautiful baby that you're bringing home, and it's so exciting, and they're beautiful, and you can't stop looking at them. Who can blame you? But then the reality starts to set in. Your baby cries a lot. Well, that's to be expected. They also seem to sleep a lot and just haphazardly all over the place. They don't really seem to know the difference between night and day. When they sleep, they're so noisy. They sleep for very short periods of time, especially when they're napping. And all of a sudden you have all these questions about what is actually normal. So let's start with a few basics. First of all of that is completely normal. Newborns and babies are very noisy sleepers. They do sleep very haphazardly in the first few weeks. They don't yet know the difference between day and night, and they will sleep for very short periods, sometimes only 20 or 30 minutes. So if you're experiencing that, it's normal. So let's just talk about how many hours sleep does a newborn need. So typically in those first few weeks, up until around 8 weeks, your baby needs between 15 and 17 hours of sleep. Now this will generally be between 8 and 9 hours during the night, not continuously in one stretch, and 7 to 9 hours of daytime sleep. They will sleep though for very short stretches. So at night, typically they'll sleep 2 to 4 hours. In the day, they can sleep as little as 30 minutes for a nap, right up to 2 or 3 hours. So they really are very erratic sleepers in those first few weeks, and that is completely normal. So what should a newborn schedule or a sleep pattern look like? First of all, I don't want you to worry about a schedule in those first few weeks. In the first few weeks, it's more about trying to create good sleep habits and laying the foundations for healthy sleeping for your little one. It's not about a set routine or schedule, because it's very hard to do that in the first few weeks because your babies are sleeping so haphazardly. The key thing is they do not know the difference between night and day. So think about it. Before they were born, when they were still inside your womb, the way they would sleep is often through your motion. So they would sleep when you were walking around, and you may have often realized this, but when you were still, all of a sudden your little one wanted to start moving around and having a party. This is because that motion is often what rocked them or got them to sleep, which is why many newborns love to be rocked or, driven around, pushed, that motion to get them to sleep. And the other thing is they didn't really have day and night. So when they're born, they don't really understand night from day. But this does pass within about 4 weeks, and there are things that you can do to help your little one quickly start to learn the difference between night and day. Now, some of the key things you can do is in the day, try not to worry too much about keeping noise to a minimum. I'm not saying for a party, but if there's background noise like washing machines and vacuum cleaners, things like that happening, some general family noise, don't worry about trying to just keep that to a minimum in the day. Just let that noise happen. Keep the rooms bright. When your baby's awake, interact a lot with them so they start to understand day. Now at night, you want to do the reverse. You want to keep the noise to a minimum. You want to make sure it is dark and that the lights are off or dimmed in the very least. You want to make sure that when you interact with your baby at night, you're keeping that interaction to a minimum. This is not the time to be playing with the baby in the night. When you wake up to feed and change, it literally just needs to be feed and changing. So those are things that you can already do to start to let your little one know the difference between night and day. But in those first few weeks, it is about flexibility. So one thing that really surprises parents is how short their newborns sleep. So I just want to talk a little bit about baby sleep stages. So a baby's sleep cycle is actually only 40 to 50 minutes long and has 2 sleep stages. And each of those stages is about 20 minutes to 25 minutes long. Now compare that to an adult. An adult's sleep cycle is between 90 and 100 minutes and has 4 sleep stages. So really, babies spend half of their sleep cycle in a light stage of sleep, which is why often babies will wake up after 20 or 30 minutes, because they're actually waking up when they're going from one sleep cycle to the next within a sleep stage. And also why a lot of babies wake up after 40 or 50 minutes, because they've finished one complete sleep cycle and they haven't yet learned how to link their cycles and go through into the next sleep cycle. Now, as your baby nears that 4-month mark, they will start to, their sleep cycle will start to become closer to that of an adult sleep cycle. So what this means is their sleep cycle starts lengthening and becomes closer to that 90 and 100-minute mark. And this is when you'll often hear parents talk about this dreaded 4-month sleep regression, because when the baby is sleep cycles maturing in that stage, they often can wake up. It can be a little bit disruptive to them for a couple of weeks as their sleep cycle matures. So that is why babies, because their sleep cycle is very short, will often wake after only 20 or 30 minutes. The important thing with babies is to know that they cannot stay awake. Newborns cannot stay awake for long. A newborn baby can probably only has an awake time of like half an hour to 45 minutes, 1 hour absolute tops in those first few weeks. So the important thing is look out for signs of tiredness with your little one. Things like rubbing their eyes, tugging on their ears. Obvious one is yawning. A not so obvious one is sneezing. Often parents just think their baby's sneezing, but if they're sneezing a lot, it can actually be a sign of tiredness. Obviously, if they're becoming fussy or cranky, these are obvious signs that your little one is tired and you need to get them down for sleep. So the next thing a lot of parents ask is, when can I expect my baby to start sleeping through the night? I get it. It's a question the new parents all want to know. So this really does differ from baby, but vastly by baby. There are some babies that as young as 3 and 4 months will start sleeping through the night. And when I mean through the night, I mean for 11 hours. But typically, babies will only start sleeping through the night. So we're talking 10-11 hours around the 6-month mark. But around that 3-4 month mark, you should start to see your baby sleep lengthening, and they are capable of sleeping for 6 or 8 hours in a single stretch. And like I said, that will just lengthen as time goes on. By 6 months, they're developmentally able to sleep through the night without requiring a feed. That doesn't mean that babies younger than 6 months won't sleep through the night without a feed. There are babies that do. And provided your baby is meeting all of its weight milestones, there is no reason that you need to wake your baby up to feed them once they kind of get past those first 3-4 months. In the early days, you obviously need to be feeding your baby regularly in those first few weeks, and that is why typically babies will wake up every sort of 2 to 4 hours to be fed. So one of the things that will really help your little one is establishing a good bedtime routine. So a bedtime routine shouldn't be complicated. It's generally only going to take you about 30 to 40 minutes, and it would be something like give your baby a bath, a gentle baby massage, give them a final feed, have a little bit of read a book or sing a lullaby, and then it's down for bed. So the important thing about the bedtime routine is to do it consistently and in the same pattern every night. So bath, massage, get the baby ready for bed, final feed, book or lullaby, down for bed. The thing is, babies love routine, and when they know, when it's done in a certain pattern, they kind of start to know what's expected. When you follow the same routine every night for bed, it starts to send signals to your baby that now is the time that sleep is expected. Now you can do a shortened version of that for naps. So, you might obviously not do the bath or the massage, but do a final feed, a nappy change, a little bit of a book or a song, and then put your baby down for sleep. And try to put your baby down for sleep in the same place for both naps and bedtime. Now, I understand that for naps, this isn't always possible, especially if you have other children, but as many times as possible, try to put them down for sleep in the same place. All of these things start to send signals to your little one that it's time for sleep. So really that is newborn sleep. If you just remember, in those first few weeks, be flexible. Your little one is not going to sleep on a timetable. Try and get rest when your baby rests. And remember, the first few weeks don't last forever. And before you know it, your little one will start to get into more of a routine. If you'd like to find out more about what your baby's sleep routine should look like, you can head over to our website at Cool Kids Hub. And we've got articles and schedules from newborn right up to 12 months of age. And I'll put the links in the video down below. Good luck with your newborn sleep. Till next time. Bye.